I talk a lot. I like to talk, so that's not a very good combination. Especially in
in these days. Especially today.
Well, I like to say that I'm a very expressive guy. So this portfolio is what I sent to master to apply to masters. This is like 2 years of my second and the third of the bachelor. I started with the theme, like everyone, or at least our school, you pick a theme subject, and we developed it along all over 1 year. And I picked suffering, but not suffering, our suffering. It can be like a reflection, but the thing that I really like to talk is the nature, and at this point it was kind of a reflective point of view. So these images are the different topics or different scenarios. These two are just experiments, not going into detail about it. This one I really like. I think there's some more in the end. But this is the most more important work of mine because I did some more experiments. So this simple goes to this work is simply like the Orvani, little waters when the morning you have little drops of water.
Little drops.
So black, it's not purified. It has a bad meaning. Also, this is a cactus.
Cactus.
So I'm just explaining this shortly to understand my way of thinking. So the cactus breathes through the spikes. The spikes are the leaves. So putting these black dots that are sort of it. Yeah, the white things that you put on the box when you buy TV. So there are some small dots that I painted in black. Okay. So with this action, I'm protecting an outside from hurting because it's protected. And also, I'm I'm forbidding or difficulting the breathing.
There are small ball of porcelain
that
you put it on the.
So it prevents the plant also from breathing. So when you're protecting, in this case, the plant also is sorry. So next words. So this was then done in the second year. So I guess this is not in a well ordered. This is some experiments. This is the second phase of the first project. I can go back. Okay, this is the second year. So I started with this. This was my first kind of big project about suffering. I chose, I don't have a picture, but I chose a place near my home. It was like completely green, no human intervention. And I started to put this big to apply as the contrast and an identity that controls and suffocates tissues beneath, and also this kind of space and playing with the surroundings of isolation, because this time COVID was like a thing. And one thing that I really like, and this is more an artistic point of view, this is not my main work, but I really liked it. Also the plants beneath, so yeah, kind of those contrasts. Yeah, this is not in order, okay, but so let me go just back here to explain. So that black mantle was done on the surface, and this white was done on a river, a small river near my house. So I did this kind of experiment, and there's also this this is another project that I will show you next to explain. So this is sculpture 2. Yeah, we have levels. I don't know if you have levels. So in sculpture 2, we require to, because I have to repeat, because it's COVID, I gave everything away. So yeah, I have to repeat it, and I have more better point of view. So this is an image. This is an message of who's you?
Seashell.
Yeah, coins. This is a more solid representation, but also abstracting, and this is my abstract point of view. So this is continuation of the Suffering project. I did a lot of small works. I really like this one because one thing that I love about sculpture is breaking my mind how to make a sculpture, the process. Yeah, I really like it because of the contrast. It kind of goes like a follower that you must follow, and it prevents, from this case, the plants to breathe and to be free, and also the contrast of putting it inside the steel. This case was like the first experiment that I have a rock and broke it and tried to fix it again, but with exaggerated. Okay? So that's what happens in our life. When you have a problem, we think about it so many times, and it goes way bigger and bigger, and try to solve it, and yeah, we cannot solve it. Also, this is a little experiment of leftovers of steel, building a big mountain, and the ideology about this was not to be concerned about building something. It's the thing that everybody concerns is to, it's really nice here, but it prevents this supportation to support, so I need to, and I realized that it's impossible to do that, because you always have a little concern about your patients, you kind of deal with yourself and struggle kind of a bit, at least I do. So this is my first experience of stone. It's not finished because I don't have the patience like you to make it. So it was like one life experience to make like this fluid.
It's a marble.
Yeah, it is a Portuguese marble.
Which color?
It's the most green but grayish green.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, we in our college have a lot of them.
It's marble.
Yeah, it's really good. So this year is my comfort zone. Was cash fitting technique that I did to plastic large stone slabs. Yeah. So my mind breaking is because I wanted to make a big project, but it was impossible. So I put it in a false way, so you can see like it kind of connects, but it doesn't. So that kind of tricky way. So this is a really beautiful marble that was sitting around there for a long time, and nobody wanted because it has a lot of veins and cracks. So I exaggerated and cracked it on purpose. It was really hard, and I took it apart and made it and separated. Like the relationship at this point, I was trying to work with the relationship between materials and the expressive materials like stone and metal at this point. But also wanted to. This is also a technique of painting. Not to just wondering how to support a big slab of marble. I don't like the work. For me, this is beautiful. Like the contrast between the expressiveness of time, like the human nature, the nature works itself. So this is another project that it's part of those photographies in the beach. So this is my last project that I did the last semester, and it is it's kind of complicated to tell about it, but I'll tell it shortly. I'll try to. So we had to make a site, not site specific, but to work on the place, and I chose some shores on my Portugal. And one thing I really like is the facades, the facades. Very expressive, and when you go to the beaches. So I wanted to make a work there, but it's really far away, and sculpting some ravines is not supposed to do. So I implemented it in a big stone that represents those ravines, and I did some attachments, fitting of various rocks, because I really like the expressiveness and the roughness of those materials. Also, this is leftovers from everybody else in the laboratory, so it's kind of a summing all the presentations of each individual.
Just very quick, you were talking about the works you did on the beach, but you didn't show them.
Okay, thank you for telling me. Yeah, he knows how I work. So the challenge was to, this is glued, okay, I needed to, they are separated, or independent that fit in. So, okay, so these are most important ones, because I took a lot, and I was also a lot of photos, because, so these are the leftovers of what I could retrieve. This is a representation because I wanted to make it much bigger, but it's complicated. So I made 8 of those, so in various areas to represent the degradation of time all over the place and beaches. Okay.
So those the last pictures we saw were like fitted, so
Yes, it was good.
good, like the one in the last.
It's the same expression, the same.
So they have make the
My dream is to make like big rocks and big leaves, so it's a project for future. So this was actually my first work in the sculpture too. That my teacher is very strict and I really like her about it, so I presented like the first work. And it's very important for me because all those 2 years, this is the one that I call my ex-libris. You know, ex-libris? The piece for me. Because it represents, it goes from the Buddhist point of view that has 8 ways of eliminating suffering. So it's the via octupla, it's the 8, there's 8 ways. I kind of wrote here. So there are 8 ways that you can do on a daily basis to eliminate suffering. And this is a representation of that 8 ways. So it is not Hydra.
Okay.
But he
So I can explain the way. So 6 of them are corrupted, or I want them to look like corrupted, with expressiveness and excessiveness. Okay, because I really like the rust and the contrast between those. It's not finished. None of my works are finished because I didn't, put wax to not rust. Now it's rust. No, we are all suffering. Okay, so this before doing the main, I did some experiments. This was one of my first to combine welding rock. It's a big idea that I have in my mind. So it was a piece of rock that I broke it, or actually broke accidentally. So I tried to fix it with the weld, like the machine to weld. You know what weld is? To weld.
Oh, which one? Which one?
Well,
Yeah,
glue
which one?
steel.
The typical.
Yeah. Yes, automatic with. To make this, I really like the burning of the rock and the expressiveness of the steel. Also, at this point I was trying to weld without gas. And the welding without gas makes more expressive with little holes welding. So, yeah.
You weld the rock.
This was broken. And I glue it
Okay.
with iron.
But
And
only without.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing, no holes, no nothing, just
Wow.
like in prisons, no?
Yeah.
Grabbing. So this is also an experiment. I like it. It's small. So at this point, like the iron was clean and the rocks contrasted, and the idea was to the iron to rust one of the sides and the other. No. This one as well this is all together, so you can pick it up from the side. It doesn't go apart. So it is the idea. You cannot see how it does because you think, oh no, it doesn't. Yeah. So yeah. For me, this sculpture was like a big accomplishment.
Really?
Because figuring out how to actually sustain all three apart. Okay, so this is like one of my biggest works. I did with also with Ricardo and Mozal in the lead mining village. I'm trying to be brief. So I really like the rocks, and this rock represented like this physical space of the mining village. And I wanted some material to be molding around, like every building in that mining, every house, every people, kind of shape around that area. So I wanted a shape-looking material that could contrast. So it fits perfect, the iron. At this point, I wanted to see how it works, because I wanted to mark the limits of the rock. Because I can show you. The idea was to represent half of the production of the phase of the mining. So I extracted and broke some of the stone to make like a not finished project, because the mine closed not because it has no more material, it was not found. And I also wanted to do another experiment that I didn't, but yeah, I'm not talking about that. So you can see here, those are little ones. This is one that I did just the outside, the thin layer, because the one thing that I really like is when I was welding, like it was a very big site, so when you weld, the metal contracts, so it lifted. So adding more like a difficult work like mining is, and is reshaping itself to the stone. So these are little examples. My first attempt to destroy a rock. This is like study, because I wanted to do a like big rock thing, but it's very heavy. So I wanted to destroy some of the works, and my teacher said like, take all the rocks, and I did it. I left some, don't talk. And so this is a more geometrical approach, more like related to the buildings and the geometric identity. These are small tests, another with sheet iron, that I make it thinner to shape the rock, and also this. And this is the last semester, our last project, it was to be an outside sculpture. No, I don't have the pictures here now. So I wanted to make first place. I wanted to make a big installation because I wanted to make trying to complete a cliff, like a supposed little terrain that used to be there. Now it's not, so I tried to complete it, like a big structure. So I didn't have time or enough fire problems with sustainability. So I incorporated and did 3 sculptures. This is inside the museum to see the comparison, but it was too big, so it went outside in the entrance of the museum, and I put those 2 on the mining area. Those supposedly rocks represent what I was trying to say, boulder that was supposed to be born or supposed to exist in the past, and now it's not, so it's just a cage. And what you say, the aesthetics of yeah, I guess I don't have a lot of any doubts?
It was on lockdown, and yeah, there was this kind of imaginary that was between figurative and not. So yeah, this was for occupied the center, and they just asked us to try to imagine it, an image for describe the center. Was a center that provides such service like a sport box, avocado, lawyer, and free service for the neighbor, and yeah, this was in Bologna. This was in an abandoned place, yeah, in an hospital. 10? Yeah, like deck, DEH. This was in a private house. And then, yeah, actually, I continue with this kind of tubes for some years, and there is no reason actually. It was just everything probably started from a joint in high school, and I started to go in stuff, and I continue.
Wait.
Yeah, it was just a school. Yeah, just draw the brain. So this is the inner part, the kind of brain, and this is the external part.
What kind of skull is this?
What?
What kind of skull is here?
Let's go.
Penso un cervo.
In inglese.
A deer, maybe.
A deer.
Ah, deer. Oh dear.
Oh, dear. Isaac.
This was one of the first sculptures, because actually I didn't study art in high school, so all of of this drawing and painting you saw was just for fun. I mean, I never drew before, so you saw that there wasn't like a base of anatomy or structure study. It was just to start from a joint, so it was really fluent. Even the sculpture, from London, I went to Bologna and I studied graphic arts, so traditional mm, print, and while I was studying there, graphic arts, I started to frequent and be in the studio of sculpture for friends and stuff, and so I started to play there. And this was one of the first, but the idea was to put the iron in all of these holes, but yeah. This is actually the first, not proper, but sculpture that I did with a friend. And it was just iron, and then we put thinner wire just with ends, and this we want to sell it, and then we paint the inner part as bronze, but it's not bronze. And so yeah, we try to put some sand and some shit. And here, yeah, playing. I mean, this is Utah. Putting the containers of plaster, and then inside there is an iron structure. And the idea was to create all these shapes, and here there is some part of iron even here, like work by hand, but cold, not hot. So and then here it's in University in Bologna for the festival of anthropological festival di antropologia. This is like an installation that it's made actually with the same method. So there is the inner part of the net, the iron net that create the main structure, and then with the Utah put in the plaster, put it on, and always with the aim to create this kind of shapes, like some drip, I don't know, like this kind of and so here you can see the net inside, and it's colored with cafe and used oil from kitchen. And here I try to mix like etching and I did this work. This is an etching, but it's print on plaster. Then actually because I construct like a base where putting the plaster, and for get it out, it's broken, and then I put the plaster back to rebuild it, and it took me a long time for getting the ink, because the plaster doesn't absorb well the ink, so it took some time to get the black, and it's not in every point actually. I get it just in some part, but this is another etching. Yeah, actually there are six, six sheets out of it. Etching, music, xylography, painting. Yeah, under here, painted on a map. Okay, so this was the one I told you before, because you can see like this drawing that are without thought, without um, just some way. And I'll show you the other portfolio, that's like the new one. Dove sono gli altri, quelli che hai messo tutte le cartelle?
In chiavetta.
Riga c'è la chiave.
Ah, la chiavetta.
Ma come mai stai facendo vedere
For
il percorso a partire addirittura dall'incisione, come
because
mai?
it's actually 4 years ago, not so.
Come mai? Why you are showing also?
Because now I'll show you the other portfolio that are five works, and it's like empty.
Yeah, but why you got this idea to show such a long?
Because I guess that in these works, even if I don't like this, you can see the process. Really.
Secondo me è molto interessante, ci sta.
Non sto dicendo che non è interessante, sto chiedendo perché hai scelto di mostrare
And
quattro
then
anni
actually
fa.
I see me more in these works than in the last one.
Okay, this is the answer that I was looking for.
Can I make a quick question in this?
Yes, sure.
In this, now you say that you see more yourself in those works. Have you ever thought about putting these shapes, let's call them, tutti questi ghirigori, i pensieri, all these thoughts that for me those are thoughts. Like I can, for what I see, those lines and those lines, bodies mixing together are like, that can be thoughts, pensieri, non lo so. Have you ever thought about putting them in a 3D way? Like,
Yeah, actually,
it would be a mess.
Yeah.
Completely a mess, like crazy.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, actually, some weeks ago I drew a sculpture with that.
The last that you did,
And I really like to do it. Like this.
Okay, yes.
the last that you did, the one that are rolled, they're really interesting.
Yeah, that one actually are two doors, and in between these two doors there are other rooms, and you close the first one. So actually, when the first door is closed, you see just the alpha, and when you open it, it's the entire circle.
Then somehow it's a sculpture. If you use
Yeah,
the
it's more
space,
like
belongs the space belongs to it.
Over there.
It's an,
Yes.
an internet.
sì. Thank you.
Ci sono tutti.
Sì, dovrebbero esserci tutti, perché todavía la vita. Tutti tranne quello di Alice. Lì ci sono tutti tranne quello di Alice. I 9 sono
So,
per forza.
Ah, quello che comandava. Non ho messo
so actually, in the first year in the academy when I was studying graphic arts, I did the bachelor with the sculpture thesis, and I started to study the earth culture. So mostly on architecture. So I study all the different way to build construction and houses with earth in the world. So And the thesis was was this actually, part of this. Yeah, for sure, yes, it was this. My thesis was on COVID period, so actually my lecture was on Thursday, and everything starts on Tuesday.
Always everybody. Tifli ligaki. Μπαίνω.
Anch'io vado là, anzi vai fuori, malaca. One more.
Let's go.
Io prendo anche questa. Guys, we can spread more, so more space between the bottles. We can.
1 meter.
Thank you, Diogo. Thank you. Thank you.
Facciamo quello divertente, dai.
Okay, this is a problem. Let's open the other door.
He said we can make 1 meter.
1 meter?
Yes. He give us this.
Esatto, bravo. Bisogna allenarci.
No. No, in the dark.
Oh, flip bottle!
Oh mamma, siamo già qua, bene. Yeah, the group of cooking must go back.
Poi ce le ricorda sulle bottiglie.
Be careful.
Left. Left, it's closer.
Ah, yes, left. The supermarket, it's here. Yes, supermarket, it's this supermarket, it's better. Yes, έτσι okay.
Yes.
Τώρα sure, ξεσουρ, that's the way.
Perché sono inclinati quegli schermi. That's are like this and these are good.
Like beans.
No, it's much.
Beans from that.
Yeah, we should do this earlier.
I guess I hope that it's just one way.
But it should go through the city. Εσύ θα ήταν καλό να περάσει μέσα από την πόλη. Τώρα αυτό δεν είναι κάτι.
Έπρεπε να περάσουμε στην πόλη. Bravo, Peticari, questi giovani.
La posso lanciare?
Yeah, with this strategy we have to walk more stairs.
Fucking hot. I'm sweating.
Ma che fa? Lampeggia? E col frontalino. Super attrezzato.
Ragazzi, si volta.
Carlo.
Io non voglio niente di fare le scuole.
Infatti io basta.
Μα τώρα βγάζω ένα πολύ ωραίο βίντεο. Συγγνώμη, μην μου ξαναμιλείς για αθλητές και πόσο καλοί είναι. Και μάλιστα για πρωταθλητές που πάνε για...
Εγώ έχω να αντιμετωπίσω και την τασούλα μου και να καθαρίσουν τα πάντα.
What? Και τελευταία στιγμή τώρα. Τι?
Dobbiamo stringerci.
Έχουμε να φτιάξουμε νιόκι, έχουμε να φτιάξουμε τις βαλίτσες μας, έχουμε να φτιάξουμε...
More time.
Ascolta, non rivivere
Siamo in una barca praticamente.
Σ' αρέσει!
Έλα, το
Έλα και εσύ μέσα! Σ' αρέσει!
Come on!
She like it very much all this.
Να πάψεις να γελάς, θέλω να
She's happy.
Don't worry, everything is okay.
Hey, don't get more butter here.
Like beef.
It's not easy. Basta.
Σκάσα, αργή, σκάσα.
It's not time for kissing now.
Who's holding my hand?
Some person have to make gnocchi.
Guys, out!
Out. Be careful the bottom.
And why τώρα out? No, I don't go πουθενά. Which?
Look, you are inside of the... Oh, this is Hydra, Diogo!
Oh, Diogo!
It is!
Oh, perfect!
Okay.
Do you know how we say in Greece this? Καψώνει. Καψώνει. Καψώνει, καψώνει. How we say? Καψώνεις you?
No, ma fate bene, guidano così.
Great! Ακόμα και το καψόνι ωραία το κάνετε. You found the best way to make capsoni. You are great. You are. No way, no way, no way. We don't eat today. We don't eat. I can see it. And Harris. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Sono 120 scalini per posto, ragazzi, li ho contati. Ok, no, cazzo. We all together really tight can occupy. Then I will replace this or fill this space with the bottles, and then we start to put the bottles one in front of the other, and we'll make the path from here to the market and come back. Okay? We will make a line of bottles, and we all help with this process. We put the last bottle in front of the first, and always like this until we reach the market. I went to the market more or less with a slow pace, and it took me less than 20 minutes, so I hope we can make this in 1 hour. Okay?
No.
One bottle at a time, or like
One person, one bottle. But you don't have to wait for the person that takes the first bottle to place it. You can take it right away. Okay?
Μου το εξηγεί κάποιος γιατί. Τι.
Παίρνουμε το ένα μπουκάλι και το βάζουμε μπροστά από το άλλο, μπροστά στο άλλο, μπροστά στο άλλο, μέχρι να φτάσουμε στο σούπερ μάρκετ και θα γυρίσουμε πίσω.
Really τώρα. Τα ματάκια.
It's one bottle for each. Now, you can grab whatever you want.
But we make a line with the bottles.
Can you simplify here for us? Yes. If you said you had 2 questions.
You have 22 bottles.
The first one is to
You give this idea.
No.
I'm sure you give.
Almost. Also because. No. It's really far from. Really far.
Okay.
And if I will do this, I will not come for dinner. Because I have too much things to do.
I'm little old for this. I'm little old for this.
Me too. So, in the darker or in the lighter?
doesn't matter.
All together.
Ρε φίλε, αυτό είναι καψόνι. Πραγματικό καψόνι. Τι είδες τι σου κάνουν οι αθλητές? Α, σε ένα τετράγωνο. Αυτό είναι το κόνσεπτ.
Ο ένας πίσω από τον άλλον. Ή όλοι μαζί. One after the... Ο ένας πίσω από τον άλλον.
Δεν
We need to
ξαναπαίρνω.
make it all.
Δεν
We need to
ξαναπαίρνω.
make a line. A line.
Line.
No.
Ωρε μας.
Tie, like
I just
block
needed to
of
be
people.
tired to see the space
Okay.
Very tight.
we occupy. Yeah.
All together, but they have to be all connected.
Άσε Μαργύρη.
Φύγε.
Wait. We can...
Which
No!
one are you?
Hey, what the What are you doing there?
Inside or outside?
More, inside. Okay.
Κατερίνα, you come to my shoes.
No!
Μα θα πάμε στο σούπερ μάρκετ.
I'm so old for that.
Θα πάμε στο σούπερ μάρκετ.
Είμαι πολύ γριά για αυτό το καψόνι.
Non nello square, sono tipo i pinguini imperatori.
No, just together without square.
Ah, without square?
Yes, without square.
Somebody stole my phone. Who stole my phone?
They manage their time without help. Just an idea of a program, you understand? And they manage all this. I'm very full for them. I don't remember the level.
Yes, it's we have been proud.
Proud.
Yeah,
Proud.
what they did.
Yeah. Γαμώτο, δεν σας έβγαλα εκείνη την ώρα που κατεβαίνετε τις σκάλες τόσο ωραία. Σαν στρατός είσαστε. Ναι ρε Κυριακή, αυτό ακριβώς θα ήθελα στην πραγματικότητα. Πάμε πάλι. Πάρτε τις σακούλες. I love all this.
Memory, so in that way I could bring a sense of intimacy in the space and create a connection between the people who visited and through the sense of smell. So I'm starting to analyze this concept through drawings as well. And then here is my program statement. It was called it shows how this is analyzed for space in all the different steps. And then I started working on actually proposing my installation or my new architectural proposal. So I based the whole design on the molecular structure of aromas, and it started building around the molecules. And I started exploring how I could create space through this pattern. And then they started evolving and, in different, it started rotating, actually, to show the movement throughout the building. And then here is actually my proposal. So at the basement of the station, it would be the place that a lot of, how can I say, the odors would start arising throughout the whole building. So there was a void between all the floors, and the smells would start to rise through the whole building. And then these are the plans that show how the building rotates.
But what is this building?
It was an ex-hydraulic power station abandoned, and you have to propose like an activity for that space and also redesign the space.
Okay.
So yeah, these are the interiors and how like my idea evolved and expands inside the interior of the space. The elevations, and now the building can be seen from the outside. Okay, and then I'm going through a different, so I decided to show different parts of me and like different things I've done. So when I started doing a lot of very detailed drawings. At this stage, I had finished my degree, and I was in between things. I was working. My profession is a fashion designer, but I would always like draw in those years. And what I started drawing actually unconsciously, like it wasn't my intention. I started drawing the food that I would consume. As you already know, from a very young age, I stopped eating meat. So I'm very sensitive to what I consume, and like I always feel that even plants sacrifice a part of them for me to be fed. So in that way, I started drawing all the food that I would consume in a very detailed way, in order to give them like eternal life through my drawings and actually building a connection to them. So it started getting a little bit like obsessive. Here is like a selection of the things that I did. It's not all of them. And then carcasses as well. That was a crab carcass. The bones of the crab.
Of the close to crab.
Okay, and then I went through a different stage in which I imagined that all the animals would start taking revenge and would start growing and take revenge of the world and all the humans. So they would like grow and start, demolishing things and eating up stuff and. Or they would camouflage themselves through leaves and like this is an army lobster in a way camouflaged with the leaves. And then here is how like an octopus and plants start taking over a building. And then here's another octopus that takes over a building as well. So in that sketch I used also my previous sketch from architecture and just drew them. Like sketches that I didn't really want, like rough sketches. And then here's like a pumpkin being mutated, so the DNA starts mutating and becomes like a killer pumpkin in a way. And then also humans start being taken over by animals, and they start becoming, like in a way, humanoids, half animals and half machines controlled by the animals. And then in this one, it's actually at the end, the animals also eat meat. So these are like personal objects of mine, like the pencil I used to draw, the pen I used to draw, and also the little Buddha, which is like a small statue which I have, which is very important for me. It's like my most precious thing because I always have it around. It's in my room. Yeah. And I have a strong connection. So here, in that way, the calamari eats me at the center. And then I transitioned to a phase where I started drawing plants. And what I found interesting in that is that plant world is the only place that actually death and life coexist. Because you can see a part of a plant being decomposed, but that doesn't mean that the rest of it isn't alive. So that started to fascinate me. And I started growing, plants that parts of them were sort of dead, and then relating that through small diagrams on the side. So in this, the results are how from the first dimension you go to the second dimension, to the third, then to the fourth, which is time, and then you just disappear. But that doesn't mean that you no longer exist. You exist in a different dimension, from my perception. Then I also started exploring the elliptical sort of movement of how life, and I started, because these are all still lives. So I arranged them and I was watching them while I was drawing them. I started arranging them in a sort of elliptical way. And this is related to the elliptical way which our universe works, because everything works in spirals. And then also another still life synthesis of dead and alive leaves. And here I'm sort of connecting into the life and death of the moon, because each month the moon sort of in a way dies and then it is reborn. So the pattern of the cycles. And also here I'm sort of trying to, through the use of color, I'm trying to emote that things transition into light. So the only way I could, actually the way I decided to show light was through analyzing it through the prism colors. So that's why it's sort of a rainbow color. Okay, then I went to a different phase in which I started drawing sort of my esoteric landscapes, I call them. So at the same time, while I'm drawing very detailed things and observing, I also have to counterbalance this by drawing things that I have in my mind without really thinking about doing something in reality. So
More abstract.
More abstract, yeah. Expressing my inner self. And then, okay, and this is the last. So at this point, I got into the School of Fine Arts, which was I've only done 6 months till now, and that was the project that I'm still working on. We were given a theme at the studio in which I am, which was skin in a very broad sense. So for me, how I approached it was because I also have studied a lot of healing arts of Aboriginal nations. So I have studied I have studied the traditional medicine of the Incan tribes in Peru, that they used to have like shamanism. So I really wanted that was really a really strong experience for me, and I wanted to bring it into my work. So in shamanism, when you go through this process, it is a wheel. So you step into a wheel that has 4 directions, and the first direction has a power animal, which is snake. So the first stage a human has to do is to actually embrace his past, her past, acknowledge it, and then shed it just like the snake sheds its skin, in order to be reborn into a new human who has a spiritual awareness. So although this sort of process is a very hard process, very painful, it is necessary for the snake to keep on living and survive, and also it's necessary for humans, in order to achieve a state of enlightenment, if that can ever be achieved. So that was my approach, and I started working on it through sketches and archetypal, archetypal signs, like the one that you're seeing here, which is in Greek, it's called Uraboros office. So it's the snake that eats its tail, and it symbolizes that it never ends. It's always a cycle.
Eternity.
Eternity, yeah, an eternal cycle. And also these are parts of my storyboard. On top I drew my own symbol of the medicine wheel, and then underneath it's the snake skin in red, which shows how painful this thing is, along with the sign which I actually found in Italy in the museum of, I can't remember whether it was Brera or Rosiana, which was written around the ceiling, and it was from Plato, and it talks about the soul, the eternity of the soul. And also more sketches about the eternity and then here about I've written out a final letter, which is the beginning and the end, the first and the last letter of our alphabet, the Greek alphabet. And then I started I moved into bigger drawings. So the ones I showed before were small storyboard drawings. Then I started working in a bigger scale, drawing the snake and using a lot of glue in this project, because glue for me is related to water, and in traditional Chinese medicine, water has to do with emotions. So the path, one who goes on this path should follow his emotions as like a guidance, I can say, if I can explain it in a way. Then more drawings of the snake shedding skin. And then the snake is in sort of an enlightened state, so I have drawn the halo in a sort of comical way. Then I started also collecting dead snakes that I found, and started putting them in jars. They are preserved in alcohol, but actually I wanted to give the effect that they are in water. And here actually somebody gave me this snake, which you cannot actually see, but it bites its tail, so it's the exact. And then this is the last part of the jar collection, which is a butterfly, which symbolizes the soul. And then I also started, so haven't achieved my final piece. I'm in the process and the exploration. And then also, I'm very connected to sound and music. So I also wrote a piece for that project, trying to sort of express the things that I talked about and showed through music and sound. And I would like to play it for you. So this was written by the use of guitars. So I've written 13 guitars, the one on top of the other. They are played in a different way. So sometimes I'm tapping them or I'm scratching them. Sometimes I play them.
a che angolo fa saltare un puntone che avevo sullo stomaco. Si chiama proprio punto. Perciò cosa vuol dire? Che è un qualcosa, un bruffo, qualcosa che emerge in centro dello stomaco. Ma perché fa saltare questo? Quello poteva essere il punto di riferimento del destino di Lucio per ingrandire un punto fermo dove tutte le misure possono partire. Qual è?
It was good. Wow, really amazing guy.
But in their work, those all the parameters like geometrical and you need to put more work, make portfolio presentation, stand-up comedy. Performance art, put your work on your. No, somebody will do it for me when I'm 60.
Era un tuono, in giro per terra, un tuono. Cioè lui è torre, io del martello, bellissimo.
I don't want to I was trying to see another way how to this is too much. I'm sure that at the end I will be like, do what please. So like at the beginning of the 12 days, you pay this fly.
Monofighto.
Siamo in tema.
No nice joke. Someone said
Con ragazzi di altri stati, altre culture. Ma è stato importante anche per i nostri vedere loro.
Like
now that I saw their work, I figured that it would be interesting to combine sound with the sculpture, like to listen to the sound and see maybe the sculpture will do with the sound. So not just sound as music, but combine it with the artwork.
Okay. You were talking with Katerina about how I could use the sound to create space. And instead of doing a sculpture, doing a sound installation in the space.
Δεν άκουσα το ερώτημα.
Because the snakes could work with the sound you have on the fan. Use
Πώς να τις περάσεις λίγο, ότι αυτές τα αρχιτεκτονικά δεν τα είχα δει. Το προηγούμενο. Καταπληκτικά είναι αυτά, δηλαδή δεν τα είχα δει ποτέ.
So how long is the time from this works? It's like 1 year, 2 years?
No, this work was done in 2009.
Oh,
Τι?
okay.
You were born.
I was 13.
Πόσο?
Το 2009
Το 2009 και πόσο καιρό κράτησε αυτό το σχέδιο να το κάνεις?
Δεν θυμάμαι.
Ενώ του τύπου 1 μήνα, 2 μέρες.
Ένα εξάμηνο. In 6 months. It was in 6 months.
These are cool graphics, by the way. The one from the building project, it looks like really architectural, like the reflection.
Και δύο επόμενα θέλω. Λίγο ακόμα. Λίγο ακόμα. Εκεί. Ωραίο. Και αυτό μου αρέσει πολύ. Βάζεις το κόκκινο, είναι εξαιρετικό πώς έχεις χρησιμοποιήσει το κόκκινο, ρε παιδί μου. Και πού τελείωσες αρχιτεκτονική, Ελβίρα?
Στο Brighton, αλλά είναι...
Εντάξει, δεν έχει σημασία αυτό. Πού είναι αυτό, στο Brighton, πού είναι το Brighton?
Στην Αγγλία.
Α, στην Αγγλία, καλά ξέρω. Οκ.
Amazing. Yes, for me it was really powerful and I like it a lot. Also, the other part of the flowers and the and all this stuff. It's really nice because you have a lot of combinations. But the last part was amazing.
You like the music?
The music also it was the music with the photo of this butterfly. It was really nice for me. Yes, I closed my eyes and I was there with this butterfly. You just say.
To be honest, I don't know any sculptures yet. The last... the jars. Actually, I found this is something that relies on the actual snake inside the product. I would like to incorporate somehow like snake skin or snakes in jars. But I still haven't found how, in what way I will compose. I'm sort of in a way that I collect things yet and explore. And I still haven't figured out how, what is going to formulate all this.
The process. So,